Agoda based on is the market current strategy, market position, internet framework, external factor, and trend, and also recommendations. The current strategy of Agoda is hybrid strategy, could make Agoda into the red ocean. And we can also see that Agoda is using the emergent strategy and expanded from offering not only hotel booking but also other travel services such as airline ticket, vacation packages, and rentals. And we would like to suggest that the Agoda must use the differentiation strategy without a price premium. And this is a corporate strategy. And when looking at the strategy core, most of the competitors from Agoda is in the hybrid position, which regarding in the red ocean. So we would like to suggest that shifting into differentiation strategy for Agoda is better than to compete with other competitors. And these are the corporate strategies of Agoda using in this concentration strategy. We also see that Agoda is using the concentration strategy in Agoda whole. And global expansion, as the global expansion strategy, Agoda expands the market strategy to Europe and American, and also diversification as a strategy and turnaround strategy. In the corporate strategy, Agoda mostly use the vertical integration strategy. And we would like to recommend that Agoda should increase its customer prestige value by adding value-added services. And in this vertical integration, we would like Agoda to suggest that to invest more by acquiring new standards within the vertical integration.
Good afternoon. My name is Kritika, and I'll be reflecting on the internal analysis and making some recommendations. So, having looked at the internal picture of Agoda, we can say that one of the major strengths of Agoda is the fact that it is part of business holding and it can make use of the available resources. And the other strength that Agoda has is the technology that it has, and the success it has had in Southeast Asia can be attributed to the technology it has, and the technology can be attributed to the partnerships and the acquisitions that it's part of. Talking about the revenue of Agoda, major source of revenue for Agoda, like for its parent company, is through the bookings of accommodation, and of which actually Agoda focuses on merchant models. So I would recommend that they have better bargaining power with the suppliers since they are focusing on the merchant model. And however, the weaknesses for Agoda would be the fact that they spend a lot on marketing. However, the marketing is only focused on online for now. So it's always healthy to have a good mix of online as well as offline, so that they can penetrate to the markets with limited access of internet. And also, one of the other facts that I noticed is that despite having so many disruptive technological developments in this field, there are not many publicity or not many news and not many press releases for those things. I think keeping those in mind would help the stock price for the company. Moving on with the board strategy.
Thank you, Kritika. Good afternoon. My name is Swarnima. So my part is about the industry picture of Agoda. So the first threats of new entrants is pretty low if you see, because Agoda is a well-known brand in a marketplace. In talking about the marketplace, the government policies is pretty strict regarding the travelers and the traveling policies, which creates barriers to the new entrants. And to invest, you have to invest a lot in the mobile applications, and most of the online bookings, like 39% of the online bookings, are done in the mobile applications. So the threats of substitutes are pretty high, because Agoda has a threat there are like direct or indirect substitutes in the market. For example, like couch surfing, bench backpacking are some of the threats like Agoda has during the substitute methods. There are many competitors in the market which are providing desirable products with desirable range for the travelers. So the bargaining power of the customers is pretty high because the most of the online travel agency is using the best price market tool, which is one of the most important strategy in the market. There are low switching costs for the customers also. The bargaining power of the suppliers is pretty low because Agoda is one of the suppliers which is providing lot of services in terms of accommodation for hotel, hostelers and other services too. The competitive rivalry are pretty high because there is intense war in the market, direct or indirectly. For example, Expedia, Ctrip, TripAdvisor, A&B, they are one of the competitively rival which are pretty high in the market, which are providing with desirable prices and price range.
Good afternoon, my name is Kiminat. I'm talking about external environment physical analysis. Okay, we have analyzed the economic, political, and social cultural technology and political. The first one, economics. High negative impact on Agoda. As the fuel increase, Agoda can experience lower profit margin as higher travel cost will decrease in travel exchange rate. The second one, social cultural. High negative impact to Agoda. As an alternative for accommodation and transportation, Agoda needs to be aware of new competitor and such as couchsurfing, which allow people to be able to stay stranded. The third, environment, high negative impact to Agoda. Agoda is contributing and indirectly to the carbon emission as hotel and aviation, the two business units to Agoda account for 60 million of CO2 emission.
My name is Yi Bama and I'll be presenting for the impact map and the recommendations. So for the impact map, you can see that this side shows the high predictable trends and this side shows the unpredictable trends, and also it shows the impacts of these trends on Agoda. So for the impact based on environment and sustainability, we can see that these are the negative impacts made by the travel industry, and although Agoda is not directly causing these problems, they are contributing in some way because they're operating in the travel industry. So we suggest that Agoda should drive more traffic to the more eco-sustainable options and also encourage the end users to opt out some of the options that can cause negative environment impacts, such as using single-use plastic, by encouraging them with giving more Agoda cash points, which is currently being used. And also another thing is that Agoda is directly causing carbon emissions from the Google searches. So in order to offset that, Agoda should partner with some of the NGOs like replanting the trees to offset the carbons. So for the recommendations, this is the recommendation based on current strategy. So in order to defend the market right now, Agoda is currently using the hybrid position on the strategy clock. So the hybrid position is very sensitive to price, and in order to avoid being forced down and compete in the no-fray position, which is not favorable at all, we suggest that Agoda move to the differentiation position on the strategy clock. So how we will achieve to that differentiation position is by adding more value-added services which will increase the customer's perceived value. Recently, we can see that Agoda currently introduced the installment payment system, which is clearly a pain reliever for the customers. So in order to add more value-added service, we suggest that Agoda use personalization. Because according to the surveys, 40% of the customers, they actually buy something that is more expensive than they intended because they want to experience personalized offers. So by using the core competency of Agoda, which is innovative technology, Agoda should be build different travel personas and correctly identifying their needs and offering them with what exactly they need. Now onto the predictable trends.
So these are the predictable trends that we have found out regarding the Chinese population, regarding the 5G connections and AI artificial intelligence trip planning tool, and others like the comparison of activities which is most used in terms of travelers. As And the predictable trend for us was 5G, and what does the 5G provides us in terms of value. So it was found that in Forbes that in 2020, 1%, more than 1% of the population would be using virtual reality or augmented reality form of source for travelers, and 39% of the online travel agency bookings are done through the mobile applications. So what value does it provide? The value that it provides is that through mobile applications they will have unlimited communications with high speed quality, and they can serve it in a pretty quick way, and it provides in the global platform, like it will support in the fast speed with new way of travel and new way of technology. So 5G technology is a safe bet for Agoda, because in 5G networks they would have access with communications and data with full speed of networks and communications, and sharing the holidays, ideas, accommodations and travels would be pretty easy for them. And it increases the chances of sales by providing VR and AR services would be strategy sales for the Agoda, because it is an aggressive strategy would be attacking the competitors to gain a competitive advantage in the market. So these are the unpredictable trends in our slide, which is related to the app economy. Grab, which has recently entered in the market with hotels and flights, and Priceline Groups, C-Trip, etc.
Of the many unpredictable trends that we identified, we've chosen two of the trends that are more relevant to Agoda and are expected to impact it the most. First one being app economy. As we are aware that most of the top companies today are relying on app for their revenue generation, and Agoda being in the same industry, it's really important for them to keep up with the pace, and it's expected that there's going to be increase in app using travelers, which makes it obvious that they have to shift their preference towards catering the best to their customers, and how they can do it is by adopting the partnership and integration strategy like they've been doing so far. The other one is lack of critical raw materials. So how this would affect Agoda is because it is expected that due to the lack of critical raw materials, there are going to be a lot of regional imbalances, and because Agoda is in a travel industry, tourism industry, which is very sensitive to factors like regional conflicts and imbalances. So in cases like this where there might be external tourism ban, we can come up with a turnaround strategy, and the one that we've thought for Agoda is moving into the real estate sector. So Cho will be talking about what are the risks and what are the considerations to be done.
And we will, this is the venturing into the real estate industry for Agoda, and these are the obstacles for entering in real estate industry, and this is the strength of Agoda in real estate industry. And we would like to recommend about the strategy in venturing into the real estate industry. And Agoda is futuristic. Agoda has the real estate industry in the new red ocean because Agoda has a vast network of contact within the market, understanding the local housing market and price strategy unique. And it also has a strength. It has an actionable and demonstrate measurable goals in all stages of strategy, execution, R&D resources, and marketing. And it has a competitive position because Agoda will gain a better position against other real estate agents by using digital document management. And also, in order to compete with the new market entrants, Agoda will leverage technology, add value, and provide superior customer experience.
30 seconds to finish off.
Although the real estate industry is a high failure rate, Agoda will get actionable real estate tips to avoid these obstacles to become a successful real estate agent. And this is all about our presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me go through and turn off the recording and the timer. You finished with 8 seconds to go. So this is excellent finishing time. Could you come over here and I'll give you some quick feedback, because there isn't anybody